Then you have light puzzles, probably the genre where you can be the most creative. So again, the light puzzle genre has been here since the very beginning of the industry, and it remains extremely popular because just like runners, puzzle games very well knew how to renew themselves. So it's really cool on that side. It's really striking to see that nowadays in 2020, a successful light puzzle is all about rewarding the players. You need to make the players feel smart and rewarded at each step of the game, really. And on that side, of course, adding a very good storytelling to let the player understand better what he's going to do, and to make him feel proud of what he's achieved during the game is really important. But also visual juiciness, visual rewards, it's really important too in these kind of games. The typical problem in light puzzles is more about the long-term retention, because on the CPI side, it's usually pretty successful because the gameplay, a problem that you have to solve, which is kind of triggering your brain. You really want to solve that problem. It does performs quite well in CPIs, but to keep players engaged in the long run, you usually have to create quite a lot of content, a lot of variety in terms of level design or gameplay elements. And so in the end, it's what you have to keep in mind when you create light puzzles. It's that, well, finding a deep and really satisfying core gameplay is important if you don't want to spend too much time on improving and adding some content. Then you have the simulation games. As I told you, 9 months ago, it wasn't even existing. The simulation genre was not exploited in hypercasual, and now it's exploding. So the question is to see if it will continue to grow or not. We can see that the genre is slowing down a bit because maybe, like for the .io games, all the possible settings will be achieved probably. That's something that we'll have to monitor to see if the genre succeed in renewing itself. But yeah, we can see that all the viral videos, like for Slap Kings, the contest of slaps that was very viral on TikTok, all the ASMR videos that are doing great on social networks, all these kind of things are great inspiration on that side. But here again, the question is the long-term retention. It might be a bit tricky to get a long-term retention. So yeah, that's something you have to keep in mind too. And finally, the aim games. It's probably the less hypercasual by nature genre of hypercasual, because by definition, aiming requires some skills, some timing notions, or both, and it usually makes these games a bit less accessible to the wide audience because they are more demanding. And yeah, a second point which is important too is that very often these games choose a shooter approach with guns and bullets, and so very often these kind of games and settings are more appealing to a male audience. And having just a male audience, of course, is a problem in hypercasual, because your goal is to get the broadest possible audience, so ideally a 50-50 gender split. But on the other side, these games are by nature great candidates for a deep hypercasual approach. So you sacrifice a part of your audience, but on the other side, you can make these games more engaging by targeting a bit more core players. So you can compensate this smaller audience by more advanced monetization and meta features, for example. And what we can see is that definitely these games, we can see many successful aim games these days out there in the stores.